Hello everyone! I hope you're all ready for one of the most clown decade videos that I am about to make, as I am about to tell you the story of a brave man, a Chad if you will, who has been given the honorary title by the internet of Bodega Bro. And this is the video why.
Okay, so I just moved to New York and I'm trying to go grocery shopping, and so I type in like grocery stores on my Apple Maps, and like every fucking one I go to, like I'm walking too, like they're like this shit, or like fucking like this. Like, bro, that's not a grocery store. Like, I'm trying to get like eggs, yogurt, like cheese, like shit like that, right? Like, look at this place. Hey yo, Ak, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese, the Aki way. Like, you know those TikToks? Like, I'm fucking doing it now. Like, I've literally been to like 5 of those now, and like, I don't know what the fuck I'm about to do for dinner. Like, where are the Krogers and like the Whole Foods at? Like, I'm about to eat fucking like cereal and ramen for dinner. Like, what the fuck?
So yes, this is a TikToker with some crass language because he's a young dude. And like most young dudes like myself, we have a bit of crass language, but also like a lot of normal people, they like what they're used to. And this guy, who goes by GriffGreen20 on TikTok, just made a little minute-long video about the culture shock, about all these corner stores being everywhere in New York, and him finding it difficult to find a supermarket that sells him eggs, yogurt, cheese, standard stuff you need to cook for yourself. And naturally, the internet was not a massive fan of this, with this particular video being the standard reply that people give whenever you say Bodega Bro is based.
Like, look at this place.
There's so much to say. He probably doesn't want to hear what I have to say, and that's fine. This video isn't for him. This video is for all the people who always say, Dutch, why do you get mad about people moving to New York?
I mean, already this guy's been on screen for, what, 2 seconds now, and we can already make the virgin New Yorker versus Chad Midwesterner memes. Let's see what he has to say.
And it's because they often have attitudes like that. They come to the city, in this case the Bronx, and instead of integrating themselves into their community, they just make a mockery of it.
Wow, I can't believe a guy didn't integrate into a completely different culture on day one. I can't believe he thought another part of America would be quite similar to his part of America. But as we'll get on to, the funniest part is that the guy does try to integrate, and even that's not good enough.
I mean, what, he's been here like 2 days, and he's found a way to make fun of the stores that many people in the community rely on. Stores that people have to rely on because the supermarket he's so desperately looking for doesn't exist because he's moved to a city which is historically, and still today, systematically deprived certain neighborhoods that are predominantly black and brown and or working class, of basic resources.
Wow, it's like he says, it sucks. This guy's just agreed with Bodega Bro. He agrees that what's happened in New York and the Bronx in this case is bad, because they can't apparently get supermarkets that have good food that people can then cook at home. So fucking what if the criticism is made into a funny video? Comedy is a great way to criticize things. That's exactly what parody is.
I know you're gonna say it's not that serious, but it is. How would you feel if somebody came in your house uninvited and started making fun of all your furniture?
That's literally not the same thing at all. You don't have to be invited to join a neighbourhood, for God's sake. We don't have a load of covenants that are self-segregated. People can't even stop you from moving to gated communities. The only rules really there are that houses have to look certain ways, but no one can actually stop you from buying property there.
So I am not at all mad about somebody moving to New York. I'm mad about people moving to New York and having attitudes like that. There's comedy and then there's mockery, and there's a very clear difference between the two. Oi.
Well, mockery is a subset of comedy, so I don't know what you're on about there. But this is why there's a load of memes online about New Yorkers thinking that New York's the only place in the world that has pizza. And it's the only place in the world that has these brigaders. And they'll say constantly like, oh, these places in New York are terrible. And then look, when someone comes in who's an outsider and says, wow, this is terrible, they all jump on him. And it gets worse than that. Because the guy came from the Midwest and not from a metropolitan city in America, I can't imagine Pride Month is something that he's completely used to, and if they do have Pride events, I don't think they'd be on the scale as New York, so he posted this video as well.
Bro, like, this place is so crazy. Like, so many gay people down here, which, like, I don't hate it. Like, I'm not gay, but, like, you know, I'm all for it. Do what you want. But, like, look at this. I tried to do that trend on those people where it's like, he's a 10, but whatever, and like, they had no idea what I was talking about, but they're in the talk, so it's hilarious. Like, is being gay just like the new thing? Like, I didn't even know this many gay people existed. It's wild.
Another one where the guy's just being friendly and making a little funny video about the culture shock he's experiencing in New York. Naturally, this is another one where people on Twitter and TikTok had to reply to him saying, oh my god, is he living under a rock? Doesn't he realise there are this many gay people? Just taking this video as homophobic, even though he literally says, I'm fine with this, and he's even clearly having fun with the people around him. He's literally trying his best to integrate. It's ridiculous, and these people are like, wow, he doesn't understand it. Oh my god, what a terrible person. But now we're getting on to the worst bit, apparently, which is the quote-unquote racism that he extruded on TikTok. Firstly, a lot of people were not particularly happy with this video.
I was in the McDonald's gym for my second workout in New York. Got shoulders and arms today. I'm in the Bronx for a few weeks, so I'm like the only white dude in this whole gym. So I got this NAACP shirt, so these people vibe with me more.
Yes, people are annoyed because he said these people. People are annoyed because he is in the Bronx, he says he's the only white guy in this gym, and that he felt a bit uncomfortable, a bit of an outsider, so he did his best to try and basically say, you know, I'm not a problem, just leave me alone, I'm kind of on your side with this NAACP shirt, which is an organisation that's for the advancement of non-whites, basically. So he's in a new place, he's trying his best to integrate, he doesn't know what to do, and people take it really badly. And another image that was going around was of this comment from one of his other videos that had nothing to do with being in the Bronx. So this person says, why can't you just make more money and move to a neighbourhood where you don't have to cosplay an NAACP top and can walk to a Whole Foods, like it's hard? And so he replies, I got the shirt because I supported the coloured community, I don't know why everyone is so pissed about it, it's not like I'm walking around with a Confederate flag. And this comes with other further comments like this. It's crazy to me how people will excuse racism if it's happening to people they don't like, evidenced by the Griff Green 20 guy who was defended even though he is racist. Coloured, what a crock of shit. Of course, it would be quite uncouth of me if I were to point out that NAACP stands for the Association of the Advancement of Coloured People. So this guy clearly doesn't really know how to show his support properly for black people or non-white people or people in the Bronx, whatever you want to call them. So he sees NAACP, sees that, oh, this is in support of non-white people, people in the Bronx, I'll wear it. Sees that it says coloured people, and so naturally, he's just going to assume that saying coloured people is okay. And the thing is, if this guy replied saying black people or black community and put a lowercase b, he would also get shit for that. Even if he put a capital, he'd still get shit for it. It was like, oh, you'd still be racist. They just attack him on other grounds. The reality of this is that this is not an inner-city liberal guy. This is literally just a normie from the Midwest of America who isn't used to this stuff, just wants to go around, have a job, have a normal life, have a normal wife, have kids, live the best life he can. And these 3 days in the Bronx have probably thrown a bit, but he's clearly trying to do his best to fit in, which is why I feel bad for the guy, because this story ain't over yet. Because since he was getting so much attention on TikTok and Twitter, the guy decided to reply to a few comments in a video.
Home then, you're not welcome here. And I think it's hilarious, so I'm gonna address a few things. Number one, I got a job at a top 10 startup in the country in Manhattan, so I'm not fucking going anywhere. Number two, my first day at work was today, June 27th, but my lease on the Upper East Side doesn't start till July 15th. So I'm subletting in this shithole for 3 weeks. And yes, it's a shithole, you can't even argue with me on that. There's like trash everywhere on the sidewalks and streets. There's like people sleeping on the sidewalk. Number three, I just thought it was funny that I typed in grocery store and a bunch of like corner stores showed up. I thought it was funny, okay? So fucking chill on me, like it's a joke.
So yeah, this guy's just clarifying that he's not going to be in the Bronx for long, he just found it weird, and he's just saying it's a complete shithole. Because from the sounds of it, and the looks of it to be honest, it is. Litter everywhere, people sleeping in the streets, and of course the whole thing with not having good food around screams to me that it's not a great neighbourhood. And from the guy who replied to him at the beginning, he basically said, oh, well, this is systematic oppression. Oh, right, okay. No wonder he wants to get out of there then. He's only there for 3 weeks. And having that much of a culture shock, and when people are terminally online, this was inevitably going to happen. But basically everyone seems to say that the Bronx is crap. I don't understand why this guy saying it is terrible. Well, no, I do understand it. One, he's white. Two, he's not from the Bronx. I can understand people having, you know, pride in their local neighbourhoods and communities and things like that. But I don't know why you'd have pride about basically all the terrible parts, and then when someone points out they're terrible and you agree they're terrible, I don't know why that's so uncouth. But unfortunately, Bodega Bro should not have made this video, because this video has unfortunately turned his life upside down to some extent. Because some completely random sub 100 follower Twitter account replied to the company that Bodega Bro was working for, which is Outreach.io on Twitter. So they posted the video here saying, "I don't think it's very flattering to have this type of person representing your company. I would reevaluate his employment if I were you," replying to a completely unrelated and innocuous tweet from Outreach about things that they were doing. And so Outreach replied, "Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Upon investigation, we took swift internal action in accordance with our company policies and in alignment with our core values. He is no longer an employee of Outreach." And there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that it was because of these videos. There are people claiming, oh, it's because he posted internal information from Outreach. I've seen those things. Literally all it is the first page of his contract. It's not really a fireable offence. And on the other hand, I know it's about this whole diversity and inclusion bullshit because they literally tweet about it. "We always welcome feedback from the community as Outreach continues to build our culture that finds strength in our diversity, equality and inclusion." And as you can see, the shithead who posted the video and played as the little snitch has protected their tweet because, believe it or not, they got hounded for being a little snitch. That's all it takes these days. That's all it takes these days to get fired. Someone finds out who you are online, if you've got a TikTok account, if you've got a YouTube account, and you said things that go against the almighty religion of the metropolitan inner cities. That's that, postmodern neo-Marxism, whether it be about racism, classism, that one's not actually come up in a while, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, whatever you want to call it. You say something even slightly uncouth, in this guy's case, pointing out that a shithole neighbourhood's a bit of a shithole, then boom, in literally less than 4 hours, you will be fired. That's how long the investigation takes. Oh, you've got a personal TikTok account that's actually got nothing to do with your job? Oh, you've moved from a really nice part of the country to a terrible one and you're pointing that out on TikTok? Oh, can't have that. You're going, mate. It's crazy. This is literal cancel culture, by the way. This is part of what people are talking about. Because I'm not exactly sure what's in that contract, but usually when it comes to online activities in worker contracts, it's usually just don't do anything on the official Outreach pages or, company pages, whatever, unless it's positive. The rest of the time you can basically just do what you want. But unfortunately, because people are idiots, they have to dig through all of people's accounts just to see, oh, where do they work? Oh, I don't know, this guy said something really bad about the Bronx. Oh, where does he work? Oh, that's where he works. Oh, I'll let them know that he said bad things about the Bronx. Oh, I got him fired? Oh, aren't I a good person? Oh my god, why are so many people coming at me because I was a snitch, gonna protect my account, but this person's still gonna think what they did was right. And honestly, when it comes to this poor guy, I don't know what he's gonna do. Obviously, a lot of right-wing Twitter are saying he's based and are saying, oh, maybe he should run in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's seat if he's of age. And honestly, I'd love to see that because the guy has noticed the issues and he probably would actually try his best to fix the issues. But really, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes back to small-town America and stays there. I think the guy's learned his lesson that he's just not welcome outside of there. And this is just going to be clown decade for at least until 2030. Because these people realise that they have power. I mean, they'll deny it all the time. They'll say they're oppressed, but they'll say, oh, we've got no power, we've got nothing. But clearly they're quite content with how the Bronx is. Otherwise they wouldn't try and get, and also celebrate, some guy getting fired for pointing out that it's not the greatest place on earth. But that's where we are now, and there's not a lot we can do about it. So as for Bodega Bro, I don't know what he's going to do, but I do hope the best for him. If he manages to get a marketing development job, because I think that was his job, at somewhere like the Daily Wire or something like that, okay, it'll be fine. But they only have so many jobs, and there are only so many explicitly right-wing, if you can call the Daily Wire right-wing, corporations and jobs out there. Unless you make more of them, which I'm absolutely on board with. I'm on board with anyone making a business that's anti-leftist explicitly, and then we'll be fine and dandy. But they're really hard to get up and running because we are in an economy that is basically systematized to keep things like Amazon and Apple keep making money because it's so much easier to keep power that way. It's, just I mean, they'll obviously lobby the government to do things, and then the lobbied governments will do things for them. It's a really incestuous relationship, but it's the one we live in. Obviously, I want change for that, but a lot of people basically just want the state to have control over everything, when really the state is the bad guy here. If they didn't have the power they do, there would be no need to lobby them. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, this was about the Ballad of Bodega Bro. The guy who did absolutely nothing wrong, said absolutely everything that people in the Bronx say anyway, but because he's an outsider it's uncouth, and because he's white, they just had to have a massive go at him. Even though the guy clearly isn't racist, clearly isn't homophobic, who knows what he's going to feel like after this whole ordeal. Because it's tempting just to go, well, you hate me, I'll just hate you back. But I really hope he doesn't go down that route, because he appears to be a lot nicer than that. But anyway, that was the Ballad of Bodega Bro, as it is so far. I do hope there will be some epilogue where he has a happily ever after, but given its clown decade, I can't see that coming, unfortunately. Well, that's everything I had for you today. So as usual, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.